Let's make a miniature Christmas gingerbread house from polymer clay. And welcome to my channel, Notorious Crafts, where I talk about all things dollhouse and miniatures. Here are some of the supplies that you'll need. You'll need some of these cutters that are to cut out the gingerbread house, white liquid polymer clay, and I'm going to mix a whole bunch of different colors to get a gingerbread color. I'm mixing all of these clay colors together, and this also helps soften the clay before I put it through the clay pasta machine. This clay pasta machine also helps mix some of the colors together and helps flatten out the clay. And after many pass-throughs of the clay pasta machine, I got the color that I wanted. I ran it through the clay pasta machine one more time to flatten out the clay before I started using the clay cutters. I grabbed one of the cutters and I will use the thinner side to cut out the clay with it. And if there are any lumps or nicks in the clay, you can just use your fingers to smooth them out. I will cut out two pieces like this. This will be the front and the back of the gingerbread house. And that's why I need two of these. One was the front and the other will be the back. Next, I am grabbing this rectangle-shaped cutter, and this is going to be the walls of the gingerbread house, and I will also need two of them. Now I'm going to cut off the pieces that are going to be the roof of the gingerbread house. They have these really pretty scalloped ends, which I think is a nice detail to have on the gingerbread house. And now I am using this door-shaped cutter to cut out the front entrance. I placed all of the clay onto a baking sheet and decided to cut out a window from the front entrance. I used this brush tool to create some texture into the clay and to make it look like a more realistic gingerbread. I then placed these pieces into the oven for them to bake and harden. I then cut out the base of the house from wet clay, and then I started attaching all of the sides to it. To attach the sides, I used some Bake and Bond from the brand Sculpey. I did not bake the base of the gingerbread house right away because I wanted to be able to mold the base to the hardened pieces. It's also much easier to assemble the gingerbread house when the pieces are hardened. If the clay was still wet, the walls might fall over or start to cave in. I also used this silicone tool to help with molding the base onto the rest of the clay pieces before I baked it. I also used the Bake and Bond to attach the roof to the rest of the house and then baked it for it to harden. And now is the fun part where I get to decorate the entire gingerbread house. So I am cutting out some red clay, and this is going to be the door of the entrance. I rolled some white and green clay into a string and then just started twisting them together to create a white and green candy cane. And I just continued twisting it just a little bit more. And then I wrapped it around the red door to create a nice front entrance decoration. I also used the Bake and Bond clay adhesive to attach it to the already baked clay. I'm also going to decorate the window of the front of the gingerbread house with some red and white candy cane that I made. I'm using the rest of the white and green candy cane to decorate the sides. I made some more of the red and white candy cane, and I'm going to use that to decorate the front of the gingerbread house. And I also used it on the roof, and this was a great way to cover the area that had a little bit of space in between the two pieces. And with the remaining candy cane, I actually turned them into some candy canes. To make the cane thinner, I ended up just twisting it even more and then cut it with an X-Acto knife and then shaped it into a candy cane. I'm going to use this liquid polymer clay in the color white to decorate the roof of the gingerbread house. I'm going to pour the liquid polymer clay into this bottle that has a cap with a really thin nozzle, and that'll help me create some really nice, thin, detailed decorations. I have this bag of miniature peppermints that are also made from polymer clay and thought this would make a really nice decoration on the roof of the gingerbread house in addition to the white liquid polymer clay. The liquid polymer clay really does look like frosting and helps it look more realistic. I am pretty new to using liquid polymer clay, but so far I really like it. It does harden after you bake it. And after baking, it does lose its glossy finish. It ends up looking a lot more dull, but you can always add resin on top or some sort of gloss to make it shiny again. I created a crisscross pattern on the roof, and then I'm going to attach some of the mini clay peppermints. And I can attach the little peppermints directly onto the liquid polymer clay, and after baking, they will stay in place. Decorating is always my favorite part of the project, and using some of this liquid polymer clay is also a great way to cover up any imperfections in the already baked clay. I know I have a few air pockets from the hardened clay. I also saw that this liquid polymer clay is available in many different colors. I chose white because it makes a really great frosting, but there are many other color options for future projects. And I'll put links to those down below in the description, as well as links to all of the supplies that I am using to make this project. Making a gingerbread house from clay is a lot easier for me than trying to make a real one that is edible. As a kid, I always tried making one of those kits, and it always ended up falling apart for some reason. So this is a lot more fun in my opinion. And now I am creating the same design on the other side of the roof. I'm adding some of the frosting and then adding the candies. And once I'm done, I'll pop it in the oven to bake. And here is the final result of my miniature clay gingerbread house. My favorite part is how the roof turned out. I love how the liquid polymer clay looks like real frosting and adding these little tiny peppermints. Let me know what you guys think of this project down below in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in the next video.